Hey guys, welcome to Generation Tech. Today we're going to be looking at 5 planets that were completely destroyed in Star Wars. Sorry guys, that wasn't one of them. That was just a clip from J.J. Abrams' demo reel for Star Wars. First up, we have Alderaan, the pacifist home planet of Princess Leia, known in the galaxy as the Planet of Beauty. Great for ski holidays, whitewater rafting, and luxury retreats. It was a socialist utopia where all education was free. Volunteers would pass on their skills to the next generation. But the party had to end sometime. And after the rise of the Galactic Empire, Alderaan seemed to turn its back on pacifism. It was found to have been supplying munitions to the Rebel Alliance. And that just wouldn't do. There were also liars.
Alderaan is peace, but we have no weapons. You can't.
That was Princess Leia, a weapons dealer from Alderaan, who sold 3 Hammerhead corvettes to the rebels. The planet had to be taught a lesson. So Tarkin used Alderaan for a demonstration of his new, massive, and totally inconspicuously named Death Star. The name, just like other symbols of death, was a bit of a giveaway to the new role of the Empire.
Have you noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
I don't,
Hans, are we the baddies?
But it seemed that had been Tarkin's plan all along.
Fear will keep the local systems in line. Fear of this battle station.
After what they called the disaster, the Alderaanian diaspora on Coruscant's level 3204 started holding a candlelit vigil to honor the dead. But then they started getting suspicious. I mean, planets don't just blow up out of thin air, do they? Of course they do. It was probably caused by swamp gas. But anyway, after they found out about the Empire's involvement, they started a riot. This riot was of course quickly suppressed, and Vader later took remains of Alderaan to sort of passive-aggressively give as gifts to representatives of other planets to let them know what would happen if they stepped out of line. Number 2, Caridia. This was a high-gravity world with a temperate climate. Landscapes included forests, deserts, glaciers, jungles, and tundra. The high gravity and varied terrain made it a perfect place for combat training. The planet was thus home to one of the Empire's most important stormtrooper training centers. Rancors also roamed the planet. They had been brought in from other places. Stormtroopers were pitted against them in training exercises, which I'm sure was traumatizing for their loving owners. Anyway, Caridia was blown up when its entire system was destroyed by the Sun Crusher. A tiny ship that looked like an ice cream cone with an Apollo space capsule stuck on top of it. The Sun Crusher was developed at the order of Grand Moff Tarkin, using funds that were intended for the Death Star 1's construction. Even the Emperor didn't know of the ship's existence. The Sun Crusher was 13 meters tall, had a crew of 4, and a cargo capacity of 65 kilograms. 65 kilograms for 4 people. I think that's worse than the baggage allowance on a United flight. It had a complement of 11 resonance torpedoes that could bury themselves inside a star, causing it to supernova and destroy an entire system. The ship was pretty much indestructible thanks to its quantum crystalline armor. It got smashed through the bridge section of a Star Destroyer once, and it was fine. After Han Solo, Chewie, and Kip Duron stole it from the Moore installation where it was built, it was stored in the thick gas atmosphere of Yavin Prime. But then Kip, who was studying the Jedi arts at Luke's Jedi Academy on Yavin 4, possessed by his hatred of the Empire, stole the ship and used it for revenge, blowing up the entire Caridian system. None of that was canon, by the way. Next up, we have Hosnian Prime, which was destroyed by General Hux and the sort of dystopian, fascist, Nazi, communist-looking organization that was the First Order, using the superweapon Starkiller Base. Starkiller Base was a planet from the unknown region rich in kyber crystals. After the defeat of the Empire when the Death Star 2 was destroyed, they retreated to the unknown region and regrouped, forming the First Order. It was sort of a side project for Kylo Ren, the lead singer of the 90s emo group The Knights of Ren, 80s new romantic General Hux, and literal walking zombie Snoke. That guy did a lot of heroin. Starkiller Base was their answer to the Death Star, a mobile battle station that could destroy entire star systems. Hosnian Prime was the capital of the New Republic, and its destruction was intended to end the Republic once and for all. As you've probably guessed, the next planet to be destroyed is Starkiller Base itself. Starkiller Base was an ice planet with extensive pine forests. Unfortunately, they had to be replanted every time the weapon fired, much to the dismay of Imperial conservationists. It was designed to be the successor to the Death Star. It would suck in energy from a star and then use that energy to destroy an entire system of planets. It would have made Grand Moff Tarkin proud. But as with all Star Wars superweapons, a small squadron of one-man fighters was more than enough to destroy it. That's why Obama decided the US military couldn't build one. Maybe President Trump could be persuaded. Starkiller Base was destroyed by Han Solo, Chewie, Finn, Poe Dameron and company by taking advantage of the energy stored within the base just before it fired. The last planet that we're going to talk about is Ithor, and this certainly isn't canon. Ithor had been a member of the Galactic Republic for 8,000 years. It didn't have a single piece of man-made infrastructure on the surface. Instead, Ithorians lived in floating cities. They believed the surface was sacred and wouldn't go down there unless they decided to stay down there permanently, living a primitive life after having heard the call of Mother Jungle.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife.
I don't think it was quite like that. I think it was more of a spiritual journey. But when the Yuuzhan Vong blazed a path through the galaxy, the Republic made a stand at Ithor, hoping to weaponize the pollen of the Bafor trees that grew on the planet. Bafor trees were these semi-sentient telepathic trees whose pollen reacted violently with the Vong's biological armor. The Yuuzhan Vong then unleashed a biological weapon of their own on Ithor, a grey goo that killed all the forests and animals on the planet. The remaining Republic forces counterattacked with a barrage of torpedoes and missiles aimed at the Vong command ship, which broke into 3 pieces, one of which fell into the atmosphere, igniting gas released by the goo, turning the atmosphere into a firestorm. And that was the end of that. So those are 5 planets that have been completely destroyed in Star Wars. 3 canon, 2 legends. We decided to take a break from telling you which ship is however many times longer than an aircraft carrier, or the same size as the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building lying down. We've probably got one more video left in that series, but we're going to leave it a few weeks. I want to say a big thank you to all our Patreon supporters who've been supporting us on Patreon. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, you can click the link that will be on screen in just a moment to find out all about it, and I promise we will have some special extras for Patreon supporters in the near future. As always, please subscribe to Generation Tech. You can give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and Alan will be back in a couple of days. He's gone off traveling to some planet where he's doing skiing and whitewater rafting and... oh.
Ben, hey, it's Alan. I'm okay. I was staying at the Trump Hotel on a small moon next to Alderaan when it blew. They said it was like swamp gas or something crazy. How dangerous that stuff is.